Live from the heart of Belize for the second leg of this 2018 Scotiabank Concacaf League Round of 16 matchup. It's the Belmopan Bandits playing host to FC Motagua of Honduras. So glad that you could join us, folks. Tyler Terrence on hand here for what should be a fantastic match, leg number 2. And the first leg necessarily didn't go the way that the away team would have liked. Belmopan losers by a score of 2-0, goals coming from Lopez and Galvaliz in minutes 47 and 76 respectively. Take a look at our pitch conditions for the night. 83 degrees here in the capital city of Belize. Slight chance of rain and a little bit of gust coming in as the players are almost set to make their way out onto the pitch. And Belmopan are hoping that the second leg goes a little bit better than the first leg did because they were outplayed for the vast majority of the match. However, Kent Gray's side did have their fair share of chances. Jerome James in particular was not able to finish them off, as we'll take a look at the road to the final in this year's 2018 Scotiabank Concacaf League. And as you can see on this right-hand side, a lot of people are starting to lean towards the left as to where the winner is going to come out of. Arabe Unido, Perez Zeledon, Herediano, Santa Tecla, all on the left side of the bracket. As for the right side, it's a bit more up in the air, and FC Motagua, who are obviously just in the CONCACAF Champions League a few months ago, might be pegged as the favorites to come out of the right side of the bracket. But as we've seen so many times before in this tournament and any sort of CONCACAF tournament, that anything can happen on any given day, and that's what Belmopan is hoping might actually happen here tonight in the city of Belmopan, as this side is looking for a big result, but they know that they have a big task in front of them. FC Motagua, as we'll take a look at the starting lineups in just a few minutes, giving a number of players a rest, including one of the more scintillating players in Sanchez, as he's going to get the night off, or at least will be used as a substitute. They did have a game over the weekend. It was a 2-0 loss against Progreso in Liga Nacional. They started out with a 1-0 win over Platense, and then they gave some players the night off, including Galvaliz, who scored the second goal for FC Motagua in the first leg of this tie. And they're coming in to Belmopan tonight with maybe a roster that doesn't necessarily shout that they're desperate for a result, but at the same time, they don't trust the result that they got at home back in Tegucigalpa. And they're hoping that they're going to be able to finish it off here in Isidora Beaton Stadium. Seats about roughly 2,500. And Belmopan, the smallest capital city in the continental Americas by population. And in 2010, that population was about roughly 16,000 or so. But this small nation and small city looking for a large result against an FC Motagua side that has obviously been no stranger to CONCACAF tournaments in the past. This is their first appearance in the Scotiabank CONCACAF League, with a 2-0 result for Diego Vasquez's side, the 47-year-old manager from San Martin, Argentina, trying to progress into the quarterfinals. And their goal is to simply flat-out win this tournament like Santa Tecla and Herediano, sides who were in the Champions League just a few months ago, looking to hoist that trophy. It was Olympia's a year ago. And maybe FC Motagua looking to carry that Honduran torch all the way to the final and beyond. As the players waiting to come out of the tunnel here in Belmopan and at Isidoro Beaton Stadium. Belmopan will be going with an almost identical lineup to what we saw a week ago. A lineup in which did put some pressure on FC Motagua, but for the most part, it was Shane Orio coming up with a bevy of saves in order to at least keep the Bandits in the game for the most part. They had the weekend off from the Premier League of Belize. They started out their opening part of the season with a 5-3 win over Defense. That was back on July 22nd. As it looks like the players are getting ready to come out onto the field. It's the Belmopan Bandits of Belize playing host to FC Motagua of Honduras.
For tonight's Scotiabank CONCACAF League match.
Belmopan in their all red jerseys, FC Motagua in their blue here tonight in the capital of Belize. And here's a look at how Kent Gray's side is going to line up. As we mentioned before, just one change. It was Martinez who was sent off in stoppage time for his second yellow card, and that is the only change. And as you see, it's going to be Humberto Requena going to slide into that center back position. But for Kent Gray, the exact same lineup that they went with. Shane O'Rio, who was in goal, was absolutely sensational. Ronnie Sanchez was one of the more dangerous players, as well as Georgie Welcome, the Honduran legend, who is going up against the club that he is all too familiar with in FC Motagua. Ian Gainer, a very solid outside back option for this Belmopan side. Here's a look at Montez, the captain for FC Motagua, and Dalton Eiley, the captain for the Belmopan Bandits. Juan Gabriel Calderon is in charge of all the important decision makings, as well as the coin toss here at Isidoro Beaton Stadium, as the pleasantries and banners are exchanged. Assistant referees and fourth official ready to go. We hope you are as well, and we'll take a look at how Diego Vasquez's side is going to line up. Diego Vasquez in his 6th season with the Honduran club, and it's going to be Jonathan Rougier in goal. Juan Pablo Montez is going to be the captain, as we just mentioned, but he is the only member of the back line from last week's first leg that's going to be starting here in the second. Mallorquin, Martinez, Maldonado all getting the start. And there's a look at some of the substitutes available. Carlos Sanchez, who is one of the more dynamic players for FC Motagua, as far as the field players are concerned, is going to be available off the bench. Javier Estupinan, he came in late for FC Motagua as well. As Jonathan Rougier retreats to his position. And the visitors from Honduras, who arrived on Monday, fully aware of the task at hand, fully aware of what awaits them on the other side, a berth into the quarterfinals of the 2018 Scotiabank Concacaf League. Belmopan, meanwhile, looking to take it a step further than they got last year. They were ousted in the round of 16 by Walter Ferretti right here at Isidoro Beaton Stadium. There's Kent Gray and company. Kent wearing that green shirt, surrounded by his technical staff. Same bench that they went with in the match over in Honduras, as we're officially underway from the capital city of Belize, Belmopan. It's the Bandits and FC Motagua to duke it out for 90 minutes. The only way that we'll have penalties is a 2-0 result in favor of Belmopan. Anything other than that, and it's settled in the 90 minutes. Strong challenge in the middle of the park from Georgie Welcome, as you get a look at the Honduran striker, who has a number of caps as well as goals for the Honduran national team. And losing control of the ball just for a moment. Humberto Requena, who's getting that start along the back line from St. Ignacio Town. Comes into Georgie Welcome, who was virtually held quiet for the entire 90 minutes a week ago. They were on the road in Tegucigalpa, and coming up against a very strong FC Motagua side, who had the full support of their fans throughout the entire 90 minutes, who were loud, were proud, and helped spur on this FC Motagua club to a 2-0 result that they've carried here to Belmopan, as the Bandits will get a set-piece opportunity in the early moments here. The call fouled against Mallorquin. Enrique Gonzaga lofts it in, looking for Ronnie Sanchez. And knotted away by the FC Motagua.
Who you certainly wouldn't blame if they brought just a little bit less to the conversation at the outset. The fact that they gave up 4 road goals is painful, but you do think back, and those opening 45 minutes, it really wasn't all that clear. Universitario was the dominant side. In that sense, the scoreline didn't accurately depict. Velarde, that's a bit behind Nunez. Good turn and a couple stutter steps to the side to open play up. Torres. Davila Paulinho taken away. This is Moreno. How impressive was the 26-year-old opening leg? Armillo outside, Velarde. Taken by Torres. And now Garcia. Garcia reaching for his ankles. Hermos Sierra the foul. Sierra coming over from Real Esteli. Melvin Hernandez for Davila. Did that get the hand of Coronel? It didn't. Bounces away from Jason Coronel. Bouncing down Garcia. Garcia trying to win the corner. He did. Well, to be frank, it's been a bit staggering how impressive Diriangen has been from the outset. It's a short corner. Return, Garcia. Playing it off. Davila. Jason Coronel trying to recover. Now Universitario is off on the run. Moreno trying to spring it back down the middle. It's good defending at the end, but it's not over yet. Villarreal. Villarreal! Oscar Villarreal with a phenomenal finish. A wonderful bending shot. And it's 5-0 in the aggregate to Universitario. He had a good goal in the first of these two legs, but this is class personified. Off a bouncing ball, he settles and brilliantly curls it around both the defender and the goalkeeper. Mario Davila or Brandon Mayorga could stop this. Brilliant. His second of the tournament. And Universitario is very much themselves on the front foot of this contest, even if the play hasn't really gone their way. Coronel is away from him. Back up the line. Davila. Garcia. It's a goal kick. Well, Universitario has become the highest scoring team in this tournament. It's early going. Only team to score 4 in the first leg. This round of 16. Vargas last year, the backup at San Francisco. The Panamanian Giants in the first division. .5-0 aggregate advantage. Universitario, 4 road goals. For Diriangen, a 5-1 result. Actually see them through the road goals. But there will not be penalties in this opening game of the night. Blindside foul from Luis Jaramillo. Well, didn't find Torres. Back by Jaramillo. Velarde. goal kick, a little too much there. Larde with Chirrillo before moving on to Atlético Nacional in San Francisco the last 2 years. Returns under this newly reformatted team. Universitario is the combination of 3 in total. It was announced on June the 13th. The players and officials from Universidad Latina. It was Chirrillo along with CD Centenario of the 2nd division. Universitario Latina that combined together to create this new 1st division side. And Chirrillo had made a name for itself in recent years as being one of the tougher outs in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Floated out of the reach of Acuna. The switch be executed here. Davila, no, did not get there. The goal kick coming. I think back Universitario, in particular, 2012 group stage and 12-13 Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League stands out. Defeating Cruz Azul away, a 0-0, then drawing Alajuelense of Costa Rica. They also fell to Cruz Azul in that tournament 6-0 on their home field. Chirrillo for a moment. Arriving for a shot was Cornell. Blast outside. And for a moment it put Panama on the map. Tauro most recently picking it up, following along. 10 minutes gone in Panama. A 5-0 Club Deportivo Universitario advantage over Cacique Diriangen. Header bopped forward, Jaramillo. Cornell lets us hop up on the turf. Is claimed now, Villarreal. Villarreal with a phenomenal goal in the 5th minute. Ramirez floated it too far. Velarde will catch up in the corner. Sierra, pressure flying in from Torres. Checking back, reversed by Janine. It's one of 3 games in CONCACAF League tonight. Belmopan trails in the aggregate 2-0 to Motagua. Motagua, one of the giants out of Honduras that's certainly gotten people buzzing in this tournament. I think last year, obviously, Olympia won the tournament. Santos de Guapolis. Honduran sides buoyed with a little extra confidence. Menezes. Couple moves from Moreno. Menezes looks. Moreno's arriving. Ball for Moreno. Skipped up the byline. And it's handled by Mayorga. Then later on tonight, maybe the most hotly contested matchup so far. Perez Zeledon and Club Deportivo FAS. the Salvadoran side come from behind victory last week for Parazeladon. It's turned over. Nunez was there. I think the storylines around this Concacaf League, the round of 16, are none bigger than Club Franciscan of Martinique. Remarkably, the amateur side pulling off a shocker of an upset over Walter Ferretti. Walter Ferretti certainly feels like they still have some control over the tie. It's just a goal to nil. And Portmore United, 2-1 win over the reigning finalist, Santos Daguapolis, in the first round. There have been some absolute shockers really going. Cornell, clever, Davila, wrong side of the crossbar. It's a goal kick for Universitario. It's a wonderful little side foot pass volley forward. It's unclear really if he was trying to aim that toward the corner. Lionel Torres closing this ground down. Sierra. Nunez. Right from Arabe Anito, team in the tournament. Harsh sliding challenge from Jaramillo. Jaramillo on the ball now. Good footwork, but both players lost track of the ball. Advantage played in favor of Diriangen. Slick back heel, falls to Torres. Coronel. Further now toward the byline, stepping on the brakes. Cunha. Cunha's fouled. Roberto Meneses. The 19-year-old. Then wagged all over that corner. It would do a lot for Diriangen's confidence to find one here. It'll be Torres. Sought out Tellez. Served back over the top, Davila. Five advantage now. Scoreline, the aggregate. Been a little bit sloppy. Universitario. One goal, not really indicative of their control of the game. It was just a phenomenal finish. Oscar Villarreal. Surely, Diriangen would like to have a little more success to go with their ability to maintain the ball. Foul. Seeds the ball back to Diriangen. After all, this is a team that finished second in the Nicaraguan League last year. 37 goals over the two combined seasons. Turned over. Garcia able to take it away. Ball for Davila, intercepted. Driven long, and it's got to be a little disappointing. Universitario, they're just trying to hold the ball a bit better as Hernandez plays it forward. Think about Universitario, a 2-1 loss to Santa Ana. Most recent match in Panama. Haven't found all the success they're looking for in the league to go along with what's been a promising start. Scotiabank Concacaf League 2018. Cornell. Davila. Diaz. Bypassing Torres, the attack continues from Diriangen. Torres knocks it to the right-hand side. Davila knocking it out. Into the 18, only for a moment. Diaz slips it through. Cornell now falls out in front. Garcia missed it. He goes down. It was deflected on the way out. It's a corner. Garcia has been a 10-goal scorer in his career, still so very young. That was an extraordinarily difficult position to be put into as that bounced off the back of Sierra's calf. Would have needed to chip that in the end. Abner Acuna, the young players to watch in this tournament. Acuna rising for the header was Nino. Flicked cross field. Velarde. And this will reach Melvin Hernandez. It's turned over, sizing this up. Villarreal coming open. Popped up and knocked back by Cornell. Skied away from Nunez. Garcia, a little overzealous. Well, the scoreline does not deceive. 5-0 in the aggregate. Universitario is in command. Can Villarreal get to this? Villarreal is just outside the area. A yellow card is shown. Mario Davila has been very, very busy. He's trying to get around Diaz just to slow down Villarreal's run. First yellow card handed out by this Jamaican official. Davila hailing from nearby Diriamba, Nicaragua. Home to the team, Diriangen. Mayorga looks his age, only 20, trying to settle this wall. Chance to knock this across toward the corner. Mayorga trying to get a punch to that. Moreno Kind of toward frame. Settled by Samir Ramirez. Villarreal hurling that around on the pirouette. Kept alive now, Janine. Ball stripped, and now the Argentine Torres begins his run upfield. Finally, the confrontation came, the overlap. Arriving Davila. Torres stretching into the box. Davila goes down. He's surrounded by two yellow shirts, and finally, let's get it away as far as Coronel, who is fouled. Pedro Janine. It's a free kick. Diriangen goes to work. Torres. Oh, low line drive. Nothing to it. Moreno trying to spring the counter. All for Villarreal. Slipped away. Coronel cutting inside. Now Torres. Torres trying to line this up. He'll follow. And Acuna closest to it. Armiel, effort to move this upfield through Coronel. Well, there's no whistle for a handball on Hernandez. Acuna. Davila went in on Villarreal. A late whistle. Villarreal last year set his career high for goals in a short season with Tauro 3. He scored the goal of his young career probably about 20 minutes ago. Header as far as Torres. That's brilliant from Torres. Torres. Luis Coronel. Turned right back now to Diriangen. Torres. Coronel sizes up goal. Well, the frustration evident. Young Nicaraguan scored that goal in the 5th minute of stoppage time against Real Esteli. Won them the championship in the 2-legged final. Swung the aggregate in their favor, 3-2. In the context of Nicaraguan football, that is as big a goal as an individual can score, and he did it at the age of 20. There's Gold Cup, World Cup qualifiers, Copa Centroamericana, Olympic qualifying. He's been around the block and then a little bit more, the Nicaraguan. Slid away from Garcia, who attempted to turn, and Nunez. Nunez now Nunez slipping through, long run. Moreno, that's kicked backwards, and it's going to be a free kick. Tellez kicked it back to his own goalkeeper, and he and Mayorga weren't on the same page. An indirect free kick is, well, that's just a young goalkeeper showing a total lack of experience. Well, Mayorga may have to dig himself out of a hole here. His Concacaf debut. Arguably named the best goalkeeper of the 2018 Clausura. Boy, what a wall. 8 across Diriangen, and he had another in Sierra. Villarreal and Moreno beside the ball. Mayorga is ceding a lot of ground in that upper corner. Villarreal, yes! His third of the tournament, his second of the day. Well, they just tap it in play and let Villarreal drive it to the corner, the side netting. All of that coverage on the wall. Ultimately, aims for the opposite side anyways. Mayorga just never saw it. Wonder who man of the match is going to be. Villarreal's made a pretty sturdy commentary for himself. Native of Panama City. And Diriangen, the first time you could say, victim of a wonder goal. The second time, well, this is very much a self-inflicted wound. It's 6-0 now in the aggregate as we've crossed the half-hour mark. Moreno. Nino. Villarreal gets it back from Moreno. He's dragged toward the touchline. Bouncing off of Nino. Shoulder from Aaron Tellez. Nunez coming up to defend Torres. Taken back by Nunez. 6-0 in the aggregate from just west of Panama City. Universitario, the homestanding side. Dominant again on the scoreline against Diriangen. And the most frustrating part for the Nicaraguans is they were on the front foot for the opening 25 minutes of this match. It was a goal wonderfully sprung against the run of play. Perfectly slotted, bending ball. Made it 5, and well, the 6th disappointing back pass handled by the goalkeeper, setting up an indirect free kick and a goal. Chance to spring Torres. He's run over. Meneses threw his arms wide, stared back at the referee, agape. Ball slid to Torres. Will be a corner. Well, a corner now. See whether or not this group can begin to turn things. Acuna, Coronel, driven, turning, Garcia, Coronel on it again, drives wide, plays it out in front, laid off now for Hernandez, it's out of his reach. The center back is fouled. A couple yards to the right, penalty area. He lost his footing on his own, yes, but it's that additional challenge. It's the bigger issue. That is a fair whistle from the referee. Be a very tight angle to try and shoot here. Vargas certainly aware of that, backing into the net. Torres and Coronel, two excellent ball strikers. Torres knocked down up front. Hernandez heads it in, but it won't count. Diriangen nearly had that first. Indeed, he was offside. Was just an effort to steer that in, and if it's a run as opposed to a static movement, that would have been diagrammed to perfection, but remains 6-0 in favor of Universitario. And the run percolating through Acuna. Torres flicks it through, now Garcia, it's a great save! Just fingertips from Vargas. Vargas all of a sudden has become the star man of the game, and Garcia had a really good beat on that. Quick restart, no whistle. The direct ball is taken away. Moreno is trying to get out. It's back with Universitario. Their 4 road goals make this feel much less competitive than it has in fact been. 6-0, but be really hard pressed. Say that Diriangen has played like that. Villarreal, twice a goal scorer on the day. Seeing eye ball for Nunez. Drops it into the right-hand pocket. Velarde, and the shot is on, and skitters wide from Moreno. Mayorga has not had the most sterling debut in this competition. Torres was stripped. Down toward Villarreal. Coronel get his foot to this. Jaramillo. Cross field, it's an errant pass. Torres hold-up play from Jorge Garcia. Two players slide, it squirts back to the near touchline and away from Davila. Into the corner, and the young netminder come out to collect. Injured player down for Universitario near the halfway line. And the training staff has made their way out. Well, everybody up. What a tremendous strike this was in the 5th minute. Oscar Villarreal. The club going back to 2013, and 2 goals in this match, a rarity for a player that more often provides assistance, actually scores the goals. Referee trying to reset play. Been a couple of these in this tournament. Guys that burst onto the scene, really not having some wild historical goal-scoring acumen yet. All the chips on the table. They've come to Concacaf League this year and impressed. Nino, previously in the Costa Rican 2nd Division. 6-0 in favor of Universitario from Panama, the winner. Universitario has taken a couple extra steps in that direction on the day. Take on either Santa Tecla or Herediano. Costa Rican side has a 1-goal advantage in the round of 16. Herediano does. And that's another year where a lot is expected from Costa Rica. Perez Zeledon behind by a goal to Club Deportivo Foz El Salvador. Fillmore United trailing 2-1 to Santos de Aguapolis. And if I may, to make a comparison, you think about Champions League in other regions, so often compare leagues by how they perform in competitions like this. Circling around Moreno. Moreno keeps it. Villarreal looking for his 3rd. Davila came in with a goal-saving block. Villarreal's just been remarkable on the day. In reality, he's allowed himself to stay wide enough to stretch the field out and then go one-on-one, not from the wing, but rather from that corner of the 18-yard box. He faces up. And whether it's this instance where he's able to simply drive in unimpeded, or it's the previous instance where he's able to curl a shot around the defender, he's impressed. Set piece for Universitario. Service knocked to the back post for Jaramillo. Get away from Acuna. But if, for instance, La Liga is best described as top league in Europe based on their incredible results historically in Champions League, perhaps top heavy, whatever you want to say, we not also make a similar commentary on the strength of Panama in this tournament and the weakness of Costa Rica? It's still remarkably early to make those kinds of judgments. However, further CONCACAF League continues to grow, the more we'll begin to see the fault lines of this region in club football on display more than ever before. It's the value of adding extra 15 teams to the equation between Scotiabank CONCACAF League and Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League. Driven ball directed straight back to center. Jason Coronel. Of course, Champions League in this region, probably biggest claim to fame for Mexico. As good as the league is, and everybody knows how good Liga MX is, being able to prove that on an annual basis, Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League for a decade is telling. Of course, the last team outside of Mexico to win was Costa Rican. Arriving for the service, blasted off of Hernandez, who had a goal disallowed correctly for offside earlier in the match. As we near first half stoppage time. Flag went up on the far touchline. Draws a dismissive wave from Oscar Villarreal. Minutes at a time in the first half. Jaramillo. Cunha. Foul from behind. Third season starting. Diriangen side, tender age of 21. Cunha has had a strong day on the left-hand side. Really hasn't been a focal point in the Universitario attack, in part due to his effort. Stretched towards Coronel. Cornell. Ramirez, Vargas, Janine. Ball flicked through, flag stays down. Moreno lets it drag wide. Ball from Moreno inside. Diaz blasts it out. And there will be a corner before the halftime whistle.
Sonido, sonido, sonido. Sonido, sonido.
And the referee, rather, will end the first half before the corner kick. Diriangen 2-0 down on the road. Universitarios expanded their lead. A remarkable 6-0. Oscar Villarreal, a goal in the opener, and 2 now in the second leg. At halftime, Universitarios 6, Diriangen 0 in the aggregate. Halftime in Scotiabank Concacaf League 2018, round of 16. Diriangen, 59% possession. Truth be told, it felt that way. They built up well. They were able to play wide to the flanks. They found space about 20 to 30 yards away from their goal line, and ultimately peppered Vargas with 6 shots, 2 on target. And Diriangen trails despite a significant statistical advantage at the half. First half highlights between Universitario and Diriangen. It was a significant lead for Universitario, but the Nicaraguans on the road felt like maybe they had a hope, a dream, an ambition to turn this result around. And in the early going, they tried to act on it. Torres just missing wide of the post. But in the 5th minute, Universitario would strike. Villarreal, just a delicious finish around the defender, curling over the goalkeeper. Goal of the tournament in its early stages, for sure. Moving forward, Universitario would look for a little bit more. They would send service from the wings. We'd see Diriangen trying from a difficult place to either lob the keeper or try and serve in, depending, of course, on who you ask. Diriangen able to knock the ball over the top. And as mentioned, find some openings 20 to 30 yards away from goal. Just an instance of the physical play we've seen to this point. Only 3 fouls from Diriangen, that being one of them. Universitario on the ensuing free kick came close, wasn't able to put it through. It was a strugglesome first half for Luis Coronel. And after a ball was knocked back by a defender, handled by the goalkeeper at the edge of the 18-yard box, Oscar Villarreal would find his second goal. It came just shy of the half-hour mark, 30th minute of play. And then things would continue to remain both chippy and high energy. This, a goal from Hernandez, waved off. He was in an offside position when the ball was put in play. And moving forward, Garcia stopped one of the great saves by Vargas in this opening half. Villarreal would have a chance at a hat-trick, although he was blocked by Mario Davila. Another instance of a ball crossed through that wouldn't find any takers. And Universitario will settle for a 2-goal advantage from Oscar Villarreal at halftime. And with 3/4 of this round of 16 in the books, it's 6-0 in favor of Universitario over Cacique Diriangen of Nicaragua. 59% possession for Diriangen, and a significant advantage as well in the shots, but an inability to put them away. They knew they'd need to be nearly perfect offensively. It hasn't been the case. It's Universitario 2-0 at the half, and in the aggregate, Universitario 6, Diriangen 0. Referees are off to check the nets, make sure nothing's changed. For Vargas, it's an unbreached net. And for Universitario, it was a dominant opening half and an opening 3/4 of this round of 16 series. They have to be pleased with their performance to this point. For Diriangen, we've mentioned it at halftime, a dominant statistical performance on the day, but well, ultimately an inability to take advantage of their opportunities has left them without much of a leg to stand on as we finish this second leg. Certainly, Universitario will look to just get out of here at home with the result they already have and carry off into the next round without any collateral damage. As scoring now would simply be superfluous, given just how well they've played to this stage. Referee, Daniel Parchman, ready to line this up and send us into the second half. Both watches work. He's nice and limber. And the clock, like an albatross, hanging over us at this stage. Universitario is looking to finish this off. Diriangen watching it slowly tick down. We're into the second half. Universitario 6-0 aggregate advantage. Diriangen. So you got this is Coronel. Over 100 appearances for Diriangen, has played with the Nicaragua national team. Herediano and Santa Tecla set to meet in the other matchup in this corner of the bracket. You think about the larger schedule, Concacaf League this year, it'll all run through the last week of October for the first leg and as early as October 30th for the second leg. Could run all the way to the first week of November. This is Coronel. Davila crossing, and it's caught by Vladimir Vargas. Turning Garcia. Foul from Meneses. Put in play for Acuna. Universitario has brought the same level of offensive efficiency as if they had mummified their previous effort, carried it over. This second matchup, just as fresh as ever. Sliding challenge from Universitario, and that's Meneses. This is more for persistent infringement than anything. Already guilty twice to start this half. A look as he goes in with a dangerous challenge behind Acuna. No card came in the 48th minute. been a complex tie by any standard. Jaramillo fouled short of midfield. Universitario did go to Nicaragua to start. They went to Alajuela in Costa Rica, and it was there that they thoroughly dominated the second half against Diriangen and left them at a loss by the time the second leg had begun. Diriangen having to travel lengthy distances for both legs, and go a step further, the lack of clarity for their short-term future right now is certainly a grave concern for some of these players. Scotiabank Concacaf League, a brief respite from what's been a off-changing dynamic in their homeland. Quarterfinals of this tournament are just 2 weeks away. They'll start on August the 21st. Universitario looking to be the first to officially punch their ticket in the next round. They're not the only game going on at the present moment. Motagua and Belmopan of Belize continue now. Motagua's got a 2-goal aggregate advantage there. But Belmopan's hanging in there. The attack is on for Diriangen. All lobbed over by Acuna. Falls and knocked to the right-hand side. The shot is on and wide. It's a goal kick. Amazingly, Diriangen was onside through that sequence. Well, there he was, apparently a bait on the far side. By the time the second ball came in, he was indeed onside. So fair enough for Davila. Cornell tried to lay it up. Meneses overrun Acuna. Acuna stepping backwards. Meneses jittery out in front of him. I see you got lined up by Nino. Diaz. Two Universitario players come together, play on, says the referee. Ramirez, under a fair bit of pressure, puts it out for a 300 throw. Luis Coronel, the runner coming. Oesiga. Flicked upfield. Flag is still down. Moreno. Tellez. Not by Moreno once, now twice. It's a game of cat and mouse. Universitario pressure was becoming a bit stifling. It's a goal kick. Oesiga has been a bit more prevalent to start this second half. Nino. And Diriangen moving forward. Good pace. Davila Davila nearing the byline off the hip. Sierra. Service quickly is headed wide. Meneses got clipped hard by Nino, who was very much going for the ball. Meneses initially helped back to his feet there. Just one of those not meaningful collisions. Punch away from Vargas. And the race is on. It's 3-on-3. Universitario's got numbers streaming upfield. Through ball. Skewered. Acuna. Swing pass up the right-hand side. Away from Coronel. Coronel able to get back, force the turnover through Nino. Acuna is fouled. Well, the referee hasn't been overly persnickety on the game. He's just called it down the line. Nothing too trivial. That's a worthy foul. Coronel. Nino continuing against the pressure of Armia. Loisiga. Nino. Nino crossfield brought down. Returned. Cornell. Cornell coming all the way. Vargas drove it away. Served along. Acuna back by Universitario, and now Velarde. Served up for Acuna. Flag is still down here. Moreno a chance to put this away. Moreno off the bottom of the crossbar. Absolutely pinged the woodwork. Villarreal lining this up. Villarreal serving. It's out for a corner. Moreno was off and running. Well, you expect him to finish that. And Moreno, who last in Peru, was on Panama's World Cup team and scored a lot of goals for Chirrillo, misses roofing that shot by mere inches. He looked for his third of the tournament. Nunez, header across. Moreno missed the upper right corner. Sergio Moreno returned in the Clausura campaign. Scored a total of 4 goals in that run. Already has 2 in this tournament. Short of the hour mark. Club Deportivo Universitario of Panama. 6 goals up on the Nicaraguan group. CK Diriangen. As Universitario continues the process of gentrification of the Panamanian footballing name in these tournaments. They have come a tremendous distance. And right now, they look to be the first of 3 could reach the quarterfinals and are currently in position to do so as results hold now. Game down to Janine. Cornell. Torres. Referee waves play onward. Give and go working with Velarde. Will run away from him. Velarde. Velarde. Diriangen just wants the ball back here. Finally, they do take it from Villarreal. $6-0 in the aggregate. Universitario the advantage. And Diriangen in the black and white jerseys just trying to find one and work from there. Oh, Isiga. Cornell. Stayed in here for Diriangen. It's Torres, the captain on the night, who's done well. Garcia lifted toward the right corner. Play broke down. Change coming. Jaramillo checking out. David Loaiza comes on. He was not in the 18 in the opening leg of this series. Jaramillo comes out. So Loaiza's on. Diriangen trying to find something, find it quick. Torres, 4 yellow jerseys circled around. Attack is on. Cornell lifted away from Torres. Advantage played under Acuna. Attack streaming upfield, Meneses. Meneses, is he able to get through now? He is! Meneses running out of real estate. He'll turn on it now. Play stopped. And an injured Diriangen player, Jason Cornell, behind the play. And he's pointing to his body to try and explain what occurred here. See if we can get a better look. Oh, he just came into the game and That is not good at all, Loaiza. He absolutely drags him right down the torso. Well, Acuña's number has gone to the 4th official. We'll see if he's next off for Diriangen. Coronel is down. Sierra, so come all the way back. Upfield from Hernandez. There'll be some changes here. Victor Perales and Erlen Ruiz are waiting to check in. It's enough for Acuña. You can see why he's such a hyped young player out of Nicaragua. Another change coming. That's enough for the captain. Leonel Torres. Just too big a hill to climb. Victor Perales, who's played with the Nicaraguan U20s, but never gotten that call up the national team. 27 now. Was on the radar for quite some time. Well, two, truthfully, pulchritudinous goals for Universitario on the day, making it 6-0 in favor of Universitario in the tilt. Well, this is the guy, the pulchritudinous goal scorer himself. Serves it across away from Hernandez. Back by Nino. Service for Garcia. Mauricio Cruz, young and head coach, saying preparing more the physical part of this than the tactical part, admitting that there was a tremendous mental load spent on these young players, the foreign and domestic players. This is another Loaiza. He has not been a kind feature since coming on. Put in play, Perales. Put it out wide. Cornell squirts free. Toward Garcia. 13-year title drought. Rear view mirror, Diriangen. I hope that their return to a championship caliber isn't a mere game of peekaboo. Rather a sustained and lengthy experience at the top of the league. Diriangen, 26 domestic titles. We've got a title in every decade since the 1940s. Ruiz. Diriangen's got this tremendous historical precedent to them. A foul, and Diriangen showing their displeasure here with the referee. Six 0 lead, a barrage from Universitario. Have to hold the clean sheet throughout. There's Sierra showing well there. The attack is on through Villarreal. Turned over. Little head of steam here to Diriangen. Big slide in from behind and a foul. Good run ahead. Garcia was flanking. Corrales chopped down from behind. Pedro Janine. Well, it's a set piece. If this game felt like it had a smidge of hyperglycemia early going, it slowed to a crawl now. Corrales will go for goal himself. Lifted up and over Vargas. Herediano and Santa Tecla are the teams that are watching this with intense scrutiny. They will play tomorrow night in the late Concacaf League window at Estadio Cuscatlan in San Salvador. Herediano through Diaz, 20th minute goal at Estadio Eladio Rosabal Cordero. And Heredia hold a 1-goal advantage and appear the favorites to get through to the quarterfinal. However, Santa Tecla has shown well these last couple of years and given teams a hard time. Is this the time the Salvadoran side makes a run in CONCACAF League's second season? Meneses. Meneses, this is excellent, but offside. Josiel Nunez just showed off an incredible bit of skill. Jimenez had thought this all the way through. He was offside. That was the correct call. Doesn't mean it wasn't beautifully worked anyway. Nunez. Nunez, the third of the 6 aggregate goals. Foul here. Diriangen needs 6 to avoid excommunication from this Concacaf League tournament in the opening round. Anything less wouldn't be enough. With a quarter of an hour to play, and a foul the yards off the touchline. Oscar Villarreal has done his job and then some. Phenomenal effort. 23-year-old. Heartwarming finish for the Panamanian. The second, completely unseen by Brandon Mayorga. And Villarreal has laid 2 of the better goals so far in this tournament into the net in this one. He's now got 3 on the tournament. He is the tournament scoring leader just right now, but there's a long way to go. Marin Stroh has come on. Put in play Perales. An effort to tag that by Ruiz. Gets by untouched. Stroh brought down there. Well, it's a significant lead for Universitario. They're just trying to see this one out. They look forward for Universitario, Arabe Anido, then at Tauro, and home against Plaza Amador. As far as the Panamanian League goes, their upcoming schedule is Murderers Row. Ball slipped through by Nunez. Flag is down. Moreno! His third of the tournament. Joint leader in Concacaf League 2018. Moreno had the entire defense thinking he was in an offside position. Such a brilliant run. And he tucks it away into the corner of the net. Just a wee bit of curl to it. Classy finish. 3 goals in the tournament now for the Universitario captain. Nunez, who scored in the 77th of the first. And this time Moreno, who scores in the 77th rather, of the second leg. 7-0 now in the aggregate. It is a thorough dismantlement. Diriangen of Nicaragua. Moisa brought down more by frustration. He's not the only one. Luis Coronel too. Diriangen, one of the Nicaraguan powers. Twice they've made it into CONCACAF's highest levels of competition. The old CONCACAF Cup. They reached the quarterfinals in 1994. Only made the qualifying stages in 1997. That's the last time Diriangen had made it to a Concacaf sanctioned tournament. As the injured player is Samir Ramirez. Last year in their Concacaf Champions League campaign went unused. Available 3 times and never found the field. They did reach the quarterfinals. Scotiabank Concacaf League in 2017. They beat Honduras Progreso as their aforementioned name, Churriel, and lost to Santos de Aguapolis in the following round. Stretchers out. That may be the end of Samir Ramirez in this tournament. $80 minutes now in the books. Benitez is waiting to come in for Universitario. Juan Carlos has come on, the 29-year-old Diriangen. Diriangen's final move. Universitario just trying to melt some time down. Combination play. The ball lined up. Push from behind. Waved back up. Moreno won't get his chance for his 4th of the tournament. At least not yet. Gets up with a bit of a wry smile to him and a couple added words. Moreno there. Hernandez at his back. Hernandez waved right at the AR and thought he had gone down too easily. Universitario 7 goals up in the aggregate. Garcia brought down. Morales. Morales drives, rising for a header. Goes unimpeded. And look, for Diriangen, this is not some tournament of transcendentalism for them. They do have to go back to reality in Nicaragua. This will bounce off the goalkeeper and now for a corner. It'll be a complex year. That's just the simple reality of it. Driven to the far post and headed up and over. Coronel just off the penalty spot. But you think about Diriangen and the way they got here. Finally a title after over a decade of waiting. Teams have made cuts to their staff. Sponsorships have been a bit lean. Players at times have taken flight. Ball knocked over the top. Garcia is there. Touched aside, the follow. Saved at the goal line. Is it in? Yes! Diriangen's got a goal in the 86th minute. Ruiz coming in at this near post. It's a wonderful save from Vargas. And the whole ball has to get over the line. It's gonna be tough to get a perfect look at this. It does look like it crossed, yes. Yes, that is a goal. Oh, it's something to go home with for Diriangen. Credited with the goal. Guy who, by all accounts, just simply leaves it all, leaves his soul on the field. Universitario's attention is turned now. This is Janine. He did that to himself, so it appears. He's helped off. The throw in. Only one player is really on the ball right now. It's the goalkeeper. There's the cross. Vargas watches this fly over the top. Universitario's looking around asking why. And look, the ball was in play. There is an element of they should be on the ball. And does it affect the end result? Not at all. However, Vargas trying to re-incite the troops here before this is all said and done. Well, let's talk about Universitario. They allowed only 14 goals all of last year at home in the Clausura. They finished with just one loss. They're extraordinarily difficult to win against in Panama. And whether they end up taking on Santa Tecla or Herediano in the next round, they are going to be a very difficult club to go up against in the quarterfinal. Scotiabank Concacaf League, certainly not one that either team had hoped would get through. As Janine is looked after here. Velarde. And sizing this up, Strosa. Ball for Velarde was caught out. May this be the margin, 7-1. About the Panamanians at the World Cup. Not the most shining beacon in terms of results, but the fact they got there, images you saw around this Panamanian nation. It is amazing how the butterfly flaps its wings and it can change the entire nature of football in a country. 3 added minutes separate Universitario from the quarterfinals of Scotiabank Concacaf League now. Qualifying for the first time, losing to England 6-1, certainly raised eyebrows. Lost to Belgium by a closer margin. Actually came pretty close to Tunisia. If you think back to a week ago, what was written on the board in the Club Deportivo Universitario locker room, do now, sometime later, it becomes never. This is a Panamanian country, a league, a team. Feels like now is their time. They are ready to strive for more on the continental level. A little contact there. Ruiz pushed down, and he has the goal in the 86th. Foul Universitario. Circling around, Tellez. Yellow card's gonna fly here. Goes to Davi Loaiza. He's come in like a bull in a china shop in this second leg. Couple of unnecessary challenges, and you think back to the opening minutes that he was in the game. He came on as a halftime sub. He just as easily could have been sent off for a high boot that ended up clawing down the side of a Diriangen player's torso. Stripped away from Lesiga. Taken by Nino. And Diriangen, in their first CONCACAF appearance over 2 decades, are going to go out in the opening round of the 2018 CONCACAF League for Universitario to flourish in the opening round. Whistle blows there. It's one last foul. See if the referee lets this play through. This will be it for Diriangen. Simply overmatched. Yellow card shown for dissent. Diriangen will put this in play. Bouncing ball, handled by Vargas. And it is full time. Universitario is through to the quarterfinal of Scotiabank Concacaf League 2018, dismantling Diriangen of Nicaragua. And the Panamanian side shows their mettle. 2 goals in the first half to put this out of reach. It was 4-0 after one leg. It finishes 7-1 in total. And the final score in the second leg from Panama, it's Club Deportivo Universitario 3, Diriangen 1, and in the aggregate, Universitario through 7-1. Good night.